Hola a todos, nuestros amigos de Me Gusta Leer. Hoy estamos aquí con Raiza Rebeles, nuestra booktuber que nos va a acompañar para platicar con Jamie McGuire, autora de la trilogía del Maravilloso Desastre. Entonces, aquí los vamos a dejar para que platiquen con ellos. Pueden ir enviando todas sus preguntas a través de Me Gusta Leer México, tanto en Twitter como también en YouTube o en Google Plus. Raiza estará leyendo las preguntas y platicando con la autora. Entonces, bueno, por lo pronto las dejamos con Raiza para que les cuente un poquito de sus impresiones sobre el libro y de qué va. Y en un momentito más se une Jamie Maguire.
Hey, ¿qué onda? Soy Raiza. Muchísimas gracias a todos por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Estoy muy emocionada por tener la oportunidad de conocer a Jamie. Es realmente un gran honor para mí y de verdad espero hacer un buen trabajo. La idea es que no sea una entrevista en la que yo esté solita platicando con Jamie, sino sea la oportunidad de que yo sea como que la voz de todos sus fans, sus disasters, para que ella pueda escuchar sus preguntas y sus comentarios y puedan tener respuestas a todas las cosas de las que han tenido dudas con estos libros que tanta gente quiere muchísimo. Los libros me sorprendieron mucho porque yo realmente no tenía una idea de qué trataban. Muchísimas personas me los habían recomendado y se ha visto las portadas porque me parecían muy bonitas, pero realmente no sabía de qué se trataban. Cuando los empecé a leer me di cuenta que era una historia muy que te engancha muy fácilmente. La historia trata de esta chica que se llama Abby, que conoce en unas peleas ilegales a este muchacho que se llama Travis, que es el típico bad boy, que tiene un exterior un poco duro, y por azares del destino terminan conociéndose y conviviendo. Y nuestra historia narra cómo es que Abby va creciendo como persona y cómo va ajustándose a la vida de Travis, y Travis va ajustándose a la vida de Abby, y toda la turbulenta relación que han tenido. Algo que es muy interesante de los libros es que a pesar de que Travis es el tipo muchacho malo que tiene problemas y eso, te da la oportunidad de conocer más de su vida anterior, de por qué es así, de su familia, y también te da la oportunidad de ver cómo Travis poco a poco va cambiando para poder estar y hacer feliz a Abby. Es una historia de amor complicada, pero la verdad es que sí te llegas a meter muchísimo en la historia. Algo que también me pareció muy interesante es que el primer libro es desde el punto de vista de Abby, pero el segundo libro es como volverte a contar la historia, pero desde el punto de vista de Travis. Y en el tercer libro ya tenemos una resolución a todos los otros dos libros. Y pues sí, la verdad es que los disfruté muchísimo. Son unos libros que se ven gruesos, porque cuando yo los vi dije, están medio largos, pero se van muy rápido. No tienen una escritura que sea pesada ni que sea cansada, y se va realmente rapidísimo. Los pude terminar, yo creo que el primero terminé como en un día y medio, y el segundo lo terminé como en 2 días, y el tercero lo terminé yo creo que en un día porque está bien cortito. Este sí está súper chiquito. Eh, y pues sí, la verdad es que son muy buenos, me gustaron muchísimo. Creo que pude entender por qué es que son tan populares. Y pues sí, la verdad es que fue toda una experiencia. Me gustó mucho ver que los personajes son, pues la verdad sí es creíble que son personajes de universidad, porque pues yo estoy cursando la universidad, entonces me identifiqué mucho con el estilo de personalidad que tienen y los problemas a los que enfrentan y la manera en la que las relaciones están representadas, y las amistades y cosas así, porque es algo que yo vivo. Entonces es algo que con lo que me identifiqué mucho. Me identifiqué mucho también con el personaje de Abby. Y pues sí, la verdad es que sí me gustó muchísimo el poder leer esos libros, y me gustó mucho todo lo que me dejaron y todos los sentimientos que me sacaron, porque son bien adictivos, la verdad. Entonces, como les digo, la idea es que yo sé que todos ustedes, Disasters, son realmente muy fans muy leales de Jamie. Entonces, lo que yo quiero es que no sea una entrevista, que no sea Raiza conoce a Jamie Maguire, sino que sea todos conocemos a Jamie Maguire, y poderle dar la oportunidad a todos de tener una voz con Jamie. Entonces, si son amables, me gustaría que si pudieran, por favor, pasar todas sus preguntas, ya sea aquí donde están viendo el video en YouTube, porque se me hace más fácil pasar por los comentarios así, o en Facebook, o en Twitter. En todos los voy a estar checando y le voy a estar pasando, pues, sus preguntas a Jamie. Y pues sí, ahorita ella todavía no se ha podido conectar, pero ahorita ya llega con todos nosotros y ya podemos empezar. Entonces sí, la verdad es que estoy muy nerviosa. Espero hacer un buen trabajo, especialmente porque los disasters tienen demasiado apego a los libros, entonces de veras quiero hacer un buen trabajo entrevistando a Jamie. Estoy muy nerviosa y emocionada, estoy nervosionada. Y pues bueno, fuera de eso, mi personaje favorito yo creo que fue... Mmm, yo creo que fue Travis, aunque Abby es la persona con la que más me podía identificar, porque yo también soy mucho de, o sea, su actitud de cómo es espérate, yo no soy igual que todas las demás, amigo, a mí no te me vas a poder acercar. ¿Sabes con lo que yo me identifico? Es algo que me ha pasado en vida real cuando me ha llegado a gustar un bad boy por ahí. Y pues sí, pero yo creo que el personaje que más me gustó fue Travis, por el hecho de que sentí que es un personaje que tiene muchísimas capas y eso es lo que a mí me gusta mucho ver en mis libros, personajes que tienen niveles y que no sean tan fáciles de entender para mí. Supongo que por eso me voy casi siempre por los personajes que no son tan parecidos a mí, sino que son distintos. Y esperando entonces a Jane. Ah, ¿están agregando personas al Hangout? No lo entiendo muy bien, no estoy muy segura de qué está pasando. Pero pues bueno, vamos a ver qué es lo que sucede. La idea es que el Hangout termine a las 6, o sea que dure aproximadamente 1 hora. Entonces durante todo ese tiempo es el tiempo que tenemos para hacer las preguntas. Ya estoy lista con mis anotaciones aquí. Y pues sí, es lo que estoy viendo. La pregunta que ayer tuve la oportunidad de platicar con Jamie y le pregunté de qué no le gustaría responder y realmente dijo que está dispuesta a responderles todo, así que eso es muy bueno porque hay autores que dicen, de esto no quiero hablar y eso, pero Jamie está dispuesta a responderles todas sus dudas, así que es una muy buena oportunidad para esto y a ver qué es lo que sale. Sé que muchos de ustedes lo que tienen más dudas es sobre la película y sobre si Jamie quiere a este actor Colton Haynes, me parece, que... A ver, un momento. Espera un segundito, creo que... ¿Mande? Ok, ¿qué es? A mí no me está llegando nada... A ver, ok, creo que ya me escuchan. Sí, perfecto. Ok, disculpen, es que me estaban mandando un mensaje las personas de la editorial. Ok, bueno, la idea es que ahorita vaya viendo preguntas y le explique también lo del concurso. Random House va a ser un concurso ahorita al final de todo el Hangout. Está muy padre, la verdad estoy muy emocionada. La idea es que ustedes en sus redes sociales van a encontrar toda la dinámica otra vez como quiera, pero ustedes deben de dar 3 respuestas a las preguntas que le hagamos a Jamie en esta ocasión o que Jamie haya respondido y van a tener la oportunidad de ganarse un box set bueno, un paquete con todos los libros de la trilogía. Va a haber, me parece que 4 ganadores, según me dijeron, y como quiera va a estar todo en sus redes sociales para que ustedes lo chequen. El concurso es 100% de Random House, entonces va a estar en todas sus redes sociales para que vayan ahí, los sigan y dejen sus respuestas y se puedan ganar los libros porque está muy padre y es una muy buena oportunidad porque son muchos libros y además es muy sencillo, simplemente escuchar las respuestas que va a dar Jamie y decirlas así rapidísimo para ganarse los libros. Y pues bueno, voy a meterme al canal de YouTube para ir viendo qué preguntas están dejando. Aquí. Muy bien, una de las preguntas que me están dejando es ¿qué opina Jamie como de Colton Haynes para ser Travis? Y pues la verdad es que no estoy muy segura si hay ahorita en los planes que se haga película de Beautiful Disaster o de Maravilloso Desastre, pero como quiera es algo que le voy a preguntar a Jamie, pero me parece que ahorita no está en planes la película porque no se ha confirmado nada. Estuve checando y solamente hay muchísimos rumores. Algo que también me parece muy interesante es que hay libros entre libros dentro de la trilogía y no he tenido oportunidad de leer esos. ¿Alguien ha tenido oportunidad de leer los libros entre libros? Porque no sabía que existían, porque me parece que todavía no están Pero just, ya está Jamie aquí. Okay. Hi, Jamie. How are you? First off, let me thank you a lot for taking the time to give us the opportunity to meet you, to ask you questions, and to chat a bit with your fans. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
We're all very, very, very excited. So if you don't mind, maybe we can jump right to the questions?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, first off, how did you come up with the idea for your books? Is it true that it's based off a bit of your life?
Yes, I actually based the setting off of when I was in college. And Travis is actually based on a guy that I had a big crush on in college. I won't, his name isn't Travis Maddox, so don't go looking him up on Facebook.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was based on a real person that I had a big crush on in college.
So will you say that Abby is the character that you relate to the most?
Of all my books, no, probably not. Probably of all of my books, I would relate most to Scarlet from Red Hill because I based it off kind of a little bit loosely off of me. Scarlett's an X-ray tech like I used to be, and she has 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters, and a lot of those experiences in Red Hill were also mine.
A lot of your fans want to know that out of all the girlfriends from the Maddox brothers, which one is the one that you like the most or that you hold dearest to you?
Oh, that's tough. I really like Abby because she could play poker and she's tough. But I also like Elise because she's a little older and she thinks about her decisions a little bit more. She doesn't fly off the handle when things aren't going well, and she's got her life a little bit more together. I like how she handles things. I like that she's the boss. So I like Elise a lot too.
Lore on Twitter wants to know, which is your favorite Travis trait or characteristic?
What is my favorite Travis trait?
Yeah.
I like that he's tough. I like that he's jealous. I know a lot of people think that maybe he's a little too jealous, but I like that in a guy. I like a guy that you can walk down the street and feel safe with. You don't have to worry about if someone approaches you and they might be a little scary. Right. You feel safe. I like that in a guy.
I actually like that too a lot. And I think a lot of people do. That's why Travis is so popular with girls, and all of your fans are in love with Travis. I think that all of us girls like a bit of jealousy in guys because we somehow feel protected. I think that's something that a lot of girls look for in a relationship. At least I do. Kirsi on Twitter, what was the toughest part to write in your Beautiful Series books? Beautiful Disasters books, I mean.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. I couldn't understand you.
Which was the toughest thing to write on the Beautiful Disaster series books?
Beautiful Disaster. The toughest thing to write about, of all the Beautiful Disaster books, I would say would be Walking Disaster. It's Travis's point of view. I had to line up the timelines. They had to be exact. The dialogue had to be exact when they were together. That was really, really tough. I messed it up a lot, so I'm glad that I have good editors to let me know that I had to pull up Beautiful Disaster on one side of my screen and then write Walking Disaster on the other side to make sure that everything lined up. That was pretty tough, but I enjoyed it.
Renee on Facebook wants to know, why is it the names of the Maddox brothers, all of them start with a T, like Travis, Renton, Tyler, Taylor, Thomas? Is there a specific reason, or did you just choose the names because you like them?
Yes, I think it's an American Southern thing, or maybe a Midwestern thing. My name is Jamie, obviously, and my brother's name is Justin. So we have Justin and Jamie in my family, and my cousins are Brandon and Brandy. I have my best friends growing up. Their brother's name is Brandon, and their name is Brooke and Bridget. So I think it's just a Southern American thing that we like to start. Not so much anymore, but whenever I was little, a lot of people named their kids starting with the same first name.
I actually like that a lot because I felt It was familiar to me because my sister and I both are named with an R because my father's name starts with an R, and I'm Raisa, and my sister is Remy. And I always said that if I had kids, all of them will be with an R too because I like that in names. So I actually found that really cute. A lot of people want to know, like for instance, Majo Jaramillo on Facebook wants to know if there will be a movie of the Beautiful Disaster books, and if so, do you have any news about that?
And it's because everyone's really excited about the movie, and I am too. I signed with Warner Brothers, let's see, in 2012, and we got a director, I'm sorry, not a director, a producer, and they wrote the script. They had the script written, and that was about as far as we got. I felt like the script was too far from the book, and the characters weren't close enough. I didn't feel like the readers would be able to support that script. But in event, it didn't get made. So we're looking for another production company that is more willing to stay a little closer to the book. It's most important to me that my readers walk away from that movie feeling like it was true to the book and feeling satisfied with how the characters were portrayed. So I'm willing to wait until that happens. I want it done right.
That's really nice because it's always awful when you really like a book and you watch the movie and it's nothing like the book. And it has happened to me a lot of times, so it's really nice that you take your fans into consideration when a movie is being made. That's actually really, really nice. Will you have a dream cast if there was a movie? Do you have specific actors that you like to fit to your characters?
You know, I don't. When I write books, it's a lot like when I dream. When I dream, I don't see faces. So it's really hard for me to describe what a character looks like. And a lot of times I'll just have the basics, and then if they're not based off a real character, I'll have the basics, and then I'll go and look for a model or an actress or something that I think looks like them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they would portray the character right. I know a lot of people want Colton Haynes to play Travis. I think it would be a good choice. I've seen his acting; he's fantastic, and he also happens to be a really nice person. I think he's read the book. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. We talked about this years ago. So I think he would do good, but that's not up to me. It's up to the production team, and it would depend on if, you know, whoever their favorite character or favorite actor would be to play Travis would be if that actor was available. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that go into casting, and it happens last. It's the very last thing they do in the process. So I don't have a dream cast. I've seen what I think would look like Abby, like maybe Amber Heard. Other people have shown me other actresses I think could pass off with Abby too. There's that girl in what's her name? Brittany Snow. She's in Pitch Perfect. I think she's in America. But other than that, I don't really have anybody because I know it doesn't really matter what I say. In the end, the production team would choose who they feel is best because they're the experts.
And will you rather have a character that looks a lot like your book character? Will you rather have an actor that looks a lot like your characters physically, or will you rather have an actor that portrays the character in the personality or in the way that he acts?
That's a really good question. You know, I would prefer a balance of both. Just like Twilight, for instance, I don't think Robert Pattinson looks anything like what I think Edward looks like, but he did a really good job portraying him, and he made me believe that he was Edward. I think for everybody, the character of Travis looks completely different. People send me what they think Travis looks like all the time, and it's from huge and these huge muscles like The Rock, and or you know a little leaner to you know looks like a skinnier but a cut guy, or a little bit smaller. So I think for everybody it's so different. You're never going to get an actor that looks exactly what everybody thinks Travis looks like. So I think it would just have to be someone that could really make you believe that he's Travis. And Travis would be a hard character to play because he's so vulnerable and sensitive, but he's also tough and intimidating. So that would take a wide spectrum and some pretty tough acting chops to be able to pull off.
Rydellington on Twitter wants to know, which of the Maddox brothers is the most complicated?
Oh, they're all complicated. I would probably say I haven't written Tyler yet, but so I haven't really gotten to know him very well. But I would say it would probably be a cross between Travis and Thomas. But Travis, I think, his mother died when he was so young. He was the youngest. He was only 3 when she died, and he went the longest without growing up with a mother. And I think that really affects people, and I think it really affected Travis. He had no clue how to love somebody. He didn't remember what it was like to watch his parents be in love. He didn't remember what it was like. Little boys learn how to flirt and to love and how to be treated by a woman, by their mother. So I think Travis just had no clue how to act, and he didn't know what to do with all those feelings that he had for Abby. So I think he would probably be #1 most messed up Maddox.
Brenda Bernal on Twitter really wants to know, because she has sent a lot of tweets, if there is going to be a book about Tyler, and if so, when will it come out?
Yes. I just wrote Taylor's book. It's called Beautiful Sacrifice. And Tyler's book is next. It's called Beautiful Burn. And it will be out in World English in January, the end of January.
Is there a process that you have, or a specific ritual you have to write? Because you write a lot of books. You have a lot of books. And you seem to write really fast too. Is there a specific ritual or something that you do?
I wish I could write a lot faster. My friend Abby Blind, she can write an entire novel in a week. I wish I could do that.
Whoa.
But I can't. This is where I write. This is my writing chair. I don't write on a desk. I write just like this with my keyboard in my lap, and I use Walking Disaster as a mouse pad. I write here, and I have a big desktop that I look at. I just moved here, so a month ago. I just moved to Colorado. So this is kind of a new setup for me, but I really like it. I write at night when everybody's asleep, because nobody bothers me, not even my husband. And so I like to feel like I have things done on the business side of writing. I like to check my email and talk to my readers on Twitter and Facebook and all the social media sites, and make sure that I have everything caught up, and then I can really focus on writing. So that's pretty much all there is to my routine.
And how do you overcome author's block?
I'm sorry?
How do you overcome author's block if you ever get an author block?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out, so I can't understand.
How do you overcome author's block if you ever get an author block?
Oh, sometimes when I fight more like just writing when I feel like writing. You can't write when you feel like writing, because if I only wrote when I felt like it, I would never write. Because it's a job for me now. So I just have my time when I'm writing, and that's when I write, and I write for the whole time, all night. So if I'm having trouble, I'll listen to music a lot to try to make the words flow. But the closest I ever got to writer's block was when I was writing Beautiful Sacrifice, and I literally wrote that book not having a clue what it was about. I had no clue. I didn't know the characters. I wasn't familiar with them because we hadn't really heard from Taylor a lot. I had no clue. I was 8 chapters in and still had no idea what it was about, and it was just a struggle for me every day to write that book. But once I figured out, sometimes I'll call my friends and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this part, and they'll talk about it with me, and I'll talk through it, and then I'll know what I'm going to write about.
Andrea Tapia wants to know if you're a fan of Bon Jovi, or why did you include it in the books?
I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I think he's incredibly talented. When I was in high school, my high school boyfriend and our song was a Bon Jovi song. And so I had the whole CD, and I listened to it all the time. And it just came on Spotify while I was writing, and so that's the one I used. But then as I got to listening to it, I really felt like it related to the book and what I was writing. So I'm glad that it popped on when it did because it worked out.
Is there anything in your books that now that you've already are that you're practically done with the first part of the trilogy? Is there anything that you would like to change, or something you think that will have fitted better in the books?
Oh yeah, I always want to go back and change stuff because as you write more books, you get better. Just like anything, as you practice, you get better. And Beautiful Disaster was the second book I ever wrote. Oh, I see Cookie Monster down there. Beautiful Disaster was the second book I ever wrote, so I literally had no clue what I was doing. And I wasn't planning on, I didn't write it planning on publishing it. I wrote it just for fun, just for me. It's the only book I've ever anyone else would see it. Beautiful doesn't doing this all the time. So, I'm sorry. I think we paused.
Yeah. All right, there. The computer froze for a moment there. Um, um, uh, Alejandra wants to know if all of the Maddox brothers were inspired after real people, or if only Travis was.
Only Travis was. Yeah.
Um, Osiris wants to know if you can give your fans any advice to the teenagers who want to be writers. Is it difficult? What did you do to write the book? And how did you change your career? Because I think that you studied radiology.
Mm-hmm.
How did you become an author, and what can you give to aspiring authors?
I wrote my first book when I was in X-ray school, which I wish I would have written it a year earlier, and then I could have saved myself all that trouble. X-ray school was really hard, and it was not fun at all. But that said, school is good. You should go to college. I wrote my first book in X-ray school. I wrote during class when I was supposed to be taking notes, which I don't recommend either. But I don't know. My friend told me that I should write a book, and I'd read Twilight, and I thought, well, I can do this. The book was really casual and conversational, and it was fun and easy to read. I didn't find it very literary or confusing, and I thought, well, I could, I've written stories before, so I could do this. And so I just started writing, and I became obsessed with it. I didn't, after I graduated from X-ray school, I continued to work as an X-ray tech for 2 years. After my book, I made a really nice book deal and signed with Warner Brothers and my publisher, and was on the New York Times before I quit my job. All the doctors were like, "Why are you still here?" But I wanted to make sure that I could make a living because I'd been a single mom and we'd been very, very poor, and I didn't want to be that back there again. So I waited a long time before I made writing my full-time job. I made sure that I had plenty of money in the bank, and that I could stop working and stay home and write full time before I quit. I would say to someone who wants to be a writer, what are you waiting for? Self-publishing and ebooks make writing easier now more than it's ever been before. There's absolutely no reason why you should wait. I kind of wish I would have written like 10 books before I ever published, because it's different writing for an audience. It's different when you know a lot of people are going to be reading your books. It's fun, it's exciting, but at the same time, it affects your writing. It really does. I wrote with abandon when I wrote my first 2 books because I didn't know if anybody else besides my mom was going to be reading it. So it really has changed my writing. I don't feel like I'm as brave when I write as I used to be, because I'll write something, I'll think, ooh, that's pretty risky. I'm going to get slammed by that in reviews. And sometimes I choose to keep it in, and sometimes I don't. Before, that wouldn't have been an option. I would just left it the way it was. But I think you should, don't just think about it and don't just start it, finish it. That would be my advice to someone that wants to be a writer. Finish your book, because once you do that, then you can perfect your craft. Then you can practice and you can make it better. But you can't practice on something if it doesn't exist. So finish your book, and then you can make it better.
That's a really, really, really good advice. Why did you choose to write the second book on Travis's point of view? Because it's really, I think, I haven't really seen this in other books. I think that other authors have had the idea, like for instance, Stephanie Meyer wanted to make a book about Edward's point of view, but she never actually published it. Why did you choose to write your second book basically being the same first book, but on Travis's point of view?
Because my readers asked me to. They wanted it, and so I did it. I don't do everything that my readers ask me to, because some things I just I don't feel like I could do, but or I'm just not inspired to do it. But I was inspired. I thought it was important to tell Travis's point of view. He got a lot of flack. Travis got a lot of flack after Beautiful Disaster. People thought that he was abusive, and they thought that he was volatile, and I just felt like he needed to tell his side.
Right.
So it was important for me to write Travis's point of view, and it was kind of catch-22, because I knew that a lot of my readers wanted a sequel, and so just like Beautiful Disaster, Walking Disaster was very polarizing. Some people weren't happy that it wasn't a sequel, and some people weren't happy that it didn't have more of Beautiful Disaster in it. So I tried to balance it out, but they really seem to enjoy it and seeing things from Travis's point of view, and those readers had a good idea. I'm glad that they told me to do that.
Yeah, because it's a really different experience. There are a lot of things that you can't actually see in the first book, because Abby wasn't there or she wasn't aware of certain things, and in the second book it's a really whole different experience. But which of the two was the most fun to write, the first one or the second one? In Abby's point of view, which one, I'm sorry?
For sure, Beautiful Disaster. Because I wrote it not thinking anyone was going to read it. Walking Disaster was really tough, trying to keep the timelines together. And I had signed, that was the first book I'd ever signed to a publisher, so I had a deadline. That was my very first deadline. It was stressful, and I was very, very pregnant at the time. So trying to, I was very tired and sick, and had 2 other kids, and trying to finish that book. It was difficult. That was a difficult time for me. But I literally finished the book and turned it in the morning and had my son that night.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was determined to get that book done before I had the baby. So, but yeah, it was. I'm glad it turned out as well as it did, and I'm glad people enjoy it as much as they do. It was really tough on me, and I worked hard for it.
But then a lot of your fans on Twitter want to know if you plan to make sequel books about the kids of the Maddox brothers.
Other people have mentioned that to me. I just did that with the Providence series. I just haven't put into it. I could see Charles and Abby's kids and all having a lot of stories to tell down the line. So I have a lot of other books on the right for me.
Fanny on Twitter wants to know if we will know more about the life of America and Shep, if they will have a bit of more feature in your future books, or if we will know about their life since they were kids or something like that.
That is a very interesting question, because I just finished their book yesterday.
Whoa!
Yes, it's called Something Beautiful, and it is the story of Shepley in America. And it's really good. It's probably my most favorite book that I've written since Beautiful Disaster.
Pero sí, tienes razón. Pásanos eso, pásanos eso.
Do you feel that your characters have changed since you first envisioned them in your head? Or are they the same as they first came out of your mind?
I don't feel like Travis and Abby have, but I feel like when I was writing Beautiful Oblivion with Trent, he was completely different than how I wrote him in Beautiful Disaster. He ended up being probably the most laid back of all the Maddox brothers, and I think it was because I'd written another book before that, and it kind of bled into Beautiful Disaster, or Beautiful Oblivion. So he's pretty laid back, and I didn't expect that from Trent.
Adri Mendoza wants to know why the book covers of the Maddox brothers have different feathers. What is the meaning of that? Or yeah, I think it's is it. Yeah, I think it's feathers, right? The books have feathers.
It started with Beautiful Oblivion, and in Beautiful Oblivion, Trent is a no, mine just went totally blank. He is a tattoo artist in Beautiful Oblivion, and he does a tattoo on Cammy of a peacock. And so we were trying to come up with a cover. I really wanted something that we could kind of carry on through the other covers and make it look like just have a theme for all the covers. So I thought, feathers would be something good that we could carry over, and it ended up working out really well. So I'm interested to see what Tyler's book cover will be. But I love the peacock, and then Sarah Hansen did Beautiful Redemption's cover, which is just amazing. And so that it really doesn't have a significance other than it started out with the tattoo of Amy's tattoo, and been carrying over as a theme. Thomas is FBI, so there's eagle feathers on Beautiful Redemption, and then there's a burning feather for the Beautiful Sacrifice, which has, I'm not going to spoil the book, but it can have a lot of different meanings.
It's Submarine on Twitter wants to know that your fans know that your daughter has written a book. Were you someone that really motivated her to do this? Did you influence her in some way to become an author?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
That your daughter is about to release a book, or has just released a book, I believe.
Did I just release a book?
No, your daughter.
Oh, my daughter. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
She released a book last August 25th on her birthday.
Did you motivate her to become an author? Were you an inspiration to her? Did you help her out in her writing?
No. She writes more than I do. She writes all the time. She has probably twice as many books as I do, but she's only published one because, a lot of the books that she wrote were when she was younger, so they're pretty juvenile. The one that she's published, it's called Eyes of the Woods. It's a paranormal romance. It's very YA, very, very YA. Paranormal romance. And I really, just the storyline, when she told me about it, I thought, this could be something that she could publish. And she would write on it and work on it, and then she'd give it to me, and I'd read it, and I'd hand it back and say, no, it needs work on it. I didn't help her until I felt like it was good enough to go through the editing process, and then I started helping her to work on it. And it, I just thought it would be better for her if I didn't hold her hand the whole way. Of course, I've been through the publishing process, so I helped her for that part. But for the writing part, now she was all on her own.
Eli Castro wants to know, what does the butterfly in the original Beautiful Disaster books series, what does the butterfly on the original cover of your books mean, of the Beautiful Disaster books?
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the original cover. There's an original cover, and it was an open mouth with a tongue sticking out, and the tongue had this tapestry on it. And just like the book, it was very polarizing. A lot of the people, I kept seeing things like, I really want to read this book, but I can't get past the cover. It grosses me out. I loved that cover. And I still have saying, I really want a book with that cover on it. But I didn't want people to pass it over because they didn't like the cover. So I decided to change it, and my cover designer at the time, Justin Fleur, he came up with that concept. It's very basic. Butterfly in a jar is a beautiful disaster. So that's really all it is.
So you're really involved in the process of creating the covers for your books.
Yes, very involved. Even when I was with my publisher, covers are very important to me. I'm a visual person, and sometimes they came really easy, and sometimes I really had to fight for what I liked. Beautiful Oblivion is a perfect example. We went through probably 10 different versions of that cover. And then the cover you see now, I was like, yep, that's it. It's perfect. Don't do anything else to it. So, but, yes. If I don't like them, I say something about it, because covers are very important.
So you think that a cover actually makes or breaks success of a book, or do you think that it's just that you really like how it looks?
Absolutely. I think that old adage, never judge a book by its cover, is terrible.
I think so too.
I think that a lot of people, I do it myself, I look at a cover, and if I don't think it's attractive or it looks boring or outdated, then I think, well, if they didn't take the time to make the cover look nice or appealing, then what is the inside of the book? What is the inside of the book like? So covers are important, for sure.
Have you seen the covers from other countries of your books?
Yes, I have.
Do you have a favorite?
I have all of them. I just got one. This is the Indonesian version of Beautiful Oblivion. It has a white, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it has a white peacock on it. I thought that was really pretty. But my very favorite is the Japanese, or no, it's the Chinese version of Beautiful Disaster and Walking Disaster. That's absolutely gorgeous. And then I have one. Hang on just a second. I'm going to show you.
Sure.
Yeah, I just crawl over my furniture. It's okay. Wait, those are the backs. So these are they're the same book. I thought I grabbed one of each. But these are them. This is Walking Disaster.
They're really pretty.
Yes, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you read them backwards, which I really like.
Yeah.
So, read backwards. So they're my favorites so far. I have some really close seconds. And some of them can be pretty interesting. But I don't have anything to do with those covers. The foreign publishers do those.
Are we seeing more of Travis and Abby in future books of the Beautiful Disaster series?
I'm sorry?
Are we seeing more of Travis and Abby in the future books that you are releasing of the Beautiful Disaster series?
I see a lot of Travis and Abby in Shuffling America's book, Something Beautiful. You get to see when Shuffling America meet, of course, Travis, and then you get to see, I added a scene in there which everyone's been asking about me forever, which is when Travis finds out that Abby's pregnant.
Whoa.
And so that's the last chapter in the book, and that's really fun. So I think people are really going to enjoy Something Beautiful.
Out of all of the books you've released, which is your favorite character?
All my books, gosh, that's like asking me which one is my favorite child. I don't know. I would probably say Jared from Providence. It's my very first novel. He was my first love in my writing career. He's just the full package. He is stronger than Travis and good looking and smart, and he's gentle and kind and sensitive like Trent and Nathan and Red Hill, and he's just everything. I just love Jared.
Miggy Navarro wants to know, what inspired you to create the character of Parker Hayes?
Well, Travis, you couldn't make it easy for him. He had to work for him. Abby went to college really wanting the complete opposite of Travis. And I felt like it was really important when I was writing the book to show that. And that her wanting Travis's opposite is encompassed in Parker Hayes. He, he's got his stuff together. He's got a career in mind. He's going to medical school. He's wealthy. He's not a fighter. He doesn't have tattoos. He's everything that Travis isn't, and everything that Abby thinks that she wants to be. So I thought, it was. I'm not a big fan of triangles normally, but it's not. I don't really feel as it's a triangle because she never loved Parker. She loved Travis from the beginning. So I just really felt like that was just Abby's attempt at doing what she said she was going to do, which was just live a completely different life. When she got to college, she was going to start over. It was going to be a clean slate. And she thought that Parker could help her get away from Travis and stay away from him, which didn't quite work out.
Noemi wants to know, of all the covers of your books, which one is your favorite?
I really like Beautiful Oblivion. I really like Beautiful Redemption. And I really like Red Hill. Those are my 3 favorites so far of the American covers. I really like those.
Angie wants to know, do you have a favorite Maddox brother, and if so, why?
A favorite Maddox brother? Probably Travis, because he was the first, but I like Thomas too, for different reasons. But Travis is just, you never know what to expect from him. He's just super fun. I just like Travis. Thomas is a little more level-headed. If I was, in real life, I'd probably pick Thomas, but I like Travis for fictional.
Do you think that your fans have been a part of what happens in your books? Because I feel like that you take them a lot into consideration when you write. Do you think that they affected a lot what happens in the story?
To a point, they do. I often will ask my readers on my Facebook page or in my street team, where would you like to see this story go? That you would like to see. But in the end, I try not to do specific things because what one person likes is the exact opposite of what another person likes. So I just try to stick with things that I like and how I envision the story, and then hope that most of my readers like it.
What do you think that has been the key to the success of your books? Because they have a huge success. They are really popular. What do you think was the key that made them so popular with young adults?
I don't like to follow rules of typical, like Beautiful Desastre doesn't have a story arc. I, believe it or not, I wasn't a huge reader in high school. So when I started writing, especially when I wrote Beautiful Desastre, I had no clue what a typical book looked like, or how a typical story behaved. So I took absolutely I didn't really try to think, okay, how should I write this? I just wrote it. So, and I just did the things that I liked, and thankfully it ended up being what a lot of other people liked.
That's actually really, really, really interesting because a lot of the authors I have known, they were really, really huge readers. And it's really interesting that you do things your way. And I think that maybe that's what attracts people so much, that your books are really unconventional in a way and fresh, and they can relate to the characters and the way the story flows better. So I actually also think that you're an author with a really grounded attitude that knows a lot what her readers wants or knows her readers really well, and that's why you can create a world in which they can submerge and relate to the characters. And I think that's part of why your fan base is so loyal, that they really know the world that you've created, because I feel that to a certain extent you've been creating this world for them. And this is actually something that I really, really like. Um, a lot of your fans want to know if they'll ever see more of Abby's backstory.
Yes, I do plan on writing a prequel. I don't know when. I don't have a date for it yet, but I do plan on writing a prequel for Abby's story when she, grew up in Vegas, when she was in Wichita, when her and America first met, when they were going back and forth between Wichita and Vegas. I think that would be really interesting. When Abby was dating Jesse, and just everything pre-Travis up until graduation, and when Abby decided, that she wanted something different, that she was going to be someone different in college. I think there's definitely a story there. I'm getting a phone call.
Wait a second.
Who is it? Do y'all want to?
No, it's nothing important. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm along with my sister, and that's why I keep the phones closed in case my mom calls. I'm sorry. Sis wants to know if you had cleared the ending of Beautiful Oblivion since the beginning.
If I had what?
If you had the ending of Beautiful Oblivion clear since the very beginning.
No, I had no idea. When I wrote Beautiful Disaster, I didn't know what the story was going to be about. I just made it up as I went along, and I really wanted to follow that same formula with the Maddox Brothers books. It worked for Beautiful Disaster, so I thought, it would be fun and hopefully work out the same way if I did it again. So that's what I've been doing.
A lot of people want me to ask you if you will consider coming to Latin America sometime, maybe to Mexico or to other countries in Latin America, to visit your fans, because you've got a lot of fans over here.
I would love to. If the publisher says come on, then I will be coming. I would love to come to Mexico. I've been there once, but it's been a long time. Probably 10 years I've been there.
10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time. Well, if you ever decide to come or get the chance, I think that a lot of people will love that, because all of your friends are asking me if you're ever coming to Mexico or to Argentina or to Chile.
I would love to come to all of those places. My publisher brings me there. I've been to Brazil. I had a great time, and everyone was so nice. I would love to visit as many places as I can. I love to meet my readers. It's one of my favorite things.
Majo25 wants to know, are you working in a series that is different and apart from Beautiful Disaster? Or for now, are you going to stay in this world?
I write things that are not Beautiful Disaster all the time. I've written a book called Apollonia. It's a sci-fi romance, but a lot like, I don't know if you Providence was my first book series, and it is a YA paranormal romance. But it's paranormal, but it's also very realistic, and that's how I love to write paranormal and sci-fi, but I like to keep things realistic. I like them to seem like they could really happen, just like Red Hill. So Apollonia's like that. It's new adult. She's in college, and it's sci-fi, but it's also very realistic. So I've written that, and I've written another YA romance called Happenstance. It's USA Today bestseller. I've written. I'm gonna flip my bookshelf. I've written a lot. I'm getting ready to start writing something I'm super excited about called All the Little Lights. It's a YA contemporary, and author Teresa Nummert. She's a New York Times bestselling author, and I'm super. It comes out November 1st. And then if all goes well, this will be nothing to a series. I'm not going to give up, but it is, I can't wait for it. And we're going to focus on this series. It's going to be super fun. So just watch my website for all of those new things.
Do you have a favorite author or a favorite book that has inspired your work? Or which one is your favorite book or your favorite author, even if it has inspired your work?
Well, like I said, I read Twilight. I'm not a huge reader. My publishers don't like me to say that, but it's true. It doesn't mean I don't think that you should read. It's just because I don't have time to read, because any of my time is spent writing. So I read Twilight while I was in X-ray school. I actually went to go watch the movie first. I didn't even know it was books. I went to go watch the movie, and I saw it, and I was freaking out about how good it was. I just loved Edward so much. And my friend said, I said, I can't wait for this next one. What's going to happen? And she looked at me like I was so dumb, and she said, it's a book series, right? I'm like, what? So I went and bought the whole series, and I read it, and I loved it, and that's whenever I thought, I can do this. So Stephanie Meyer changed my life. We've never met. I don't know her, but I would love to meet her. I'm sure she gets people telling her that they inspire her every day. But she literally changed my life. I went from not being able to afford school supplies for my kids to moving to Colorado in this big, beautiful house and pretty much living out my dream. So I owe Stephanie a lot.
I actually really enjoyed the Twilight books too a lot. They were really, really good books. Miri Navarro wants to know if you are planning to write books about the Maddox brothers' parents.
Yes. I am going to write a prequel. Shepley's parents are Jack and Dina, and Travis's parents are Jim and Diane. Shepley and Travis and all the Maddox brothers and Shepley are double cousins, which means that Jim and Jack are brothers, Jim and Jack Maddox, and then Diane and Dina are sisters. And so they're kind of like Abby and Travis and Shepley in America. They all hang out together, and I think they're fun. Their story would be really fun. So yeah, I do plan on writing that later.
And a lot of people want to ask you, how will you describe your books, or how will you convince someone to read your books if they don't know what they are about or they haven't read them yet?
Which ones?
The Beautiful Disaster books.
The Beautiful Disaster books are about very volatile boys who are raised without a mother. They have no idea what to do with love, even when it slaps them in the face. And they just act crazy when they fall in love because they don't know how to behave. And it makes for a really good story.
Do you read the critics' reviews on your books, or do you prefer not to read the reviews of your books?
I used to. When I first started, I used to read them all the time because I saw them as constructive criticism. But really quickly, it wasn't constructive. People can be really mean, and the internet and not having a face, sitting behind a computer screen, gives people the idea that they can be really hateful. And a lot of people say, books aren't your children; they're inanimate objects. However, it's not that they're babies or that the work that we put into it and the time and those books are our real ideas and parts of us and things that we think should happen. And when people normally when they publish a book, it's the best that they can do. And then when people come out back and say your best isn't good enough, you can't help it. When people are really, really mean about it, this is the best that I'm giving you. This is my very best. I worked really hard on it. And someone says, it's crap. and they're entitled to their opinion. I've read books that I did not like at all, and I've said as much, but sometimes people don't say, you know, I just really didn't like this book because it's, I've had people tell me that I glorify abuse and that my husband must abuse me, and they feel just sorry for my children for having a mother like me, and they get really personal. And I figured out that it was beginning to affect my writing, so I stopped reading them.
So we're supposed to end this hangout at 6 o'clock, so we got about a minute. So I would like if you could send a message to your fans. What would you like to tell them right now to all the people in Latin America that are watching you?
Well, what can I say? I mean, I don't get to see face to face everybody that reads my books. Social media helps a little bit, but I want to say thank you for reading my books. Thank you for buying them. It helps me to stay home and write more. And I really appreciate all the notes. I read them all. When you tweet me, when you contact me on Facebook, I read everything. I don't have anybody else do it. I don't have any employees, just us chickens here. So I read them all and I appreciate them all. And sometimes it's the only thing that gets me through the day. You know, as you can imagine, you're a public figure and people have a lot to say. And those words of encouragement or those, you know, just, hey, I really enjoyed your book, sometimes just helps me to open up my program and start writing some more. So thank you so much. You changed my life, and I hope that, you know, I changed yours.
Well, thank you very, very much, Jamie, for your time and for giving us the opportunity to chat with you. I just want to say that I really admire your books and I really admire your work. And you as an author, I really, really liked you. So thank you for giving me this time to meet you and to chat with you. It was a huge honor. And I hope that maybe if you come someday to Latin America, you can get to meet your fans, because a lot of people love your books a lot here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You did great. You're amazing.
Thank you. I was really, really nervous because I wanted to do a good job for your fans, because you've got a lot of fans here, and it was a huge responsibility. But thank you very much, Jamie, and I hope we can meet soon.
Yes, I do too. If and when I come, we've got to meet up. You've got to be there.
Sure, hopefully. Well, thank you, and bye.